Ken Trahan with David Grubb at the New Orleans Pelicans facility, where today the Pelicans introduced their 2 draft picks that they just made, including Buddy Hield and a guy named Cheek Diallo, who we found out a little bit about. He's a clever guy, well-spoken, a guy that didn't play much in college, and obviously he's a project, David.
Well, I think the most impressive thing about him today was he talked a lot about his work ethic and his willingness to get better. I think he understands that he's an unknown commodity, and he's got a lot to prove in the league and to the fans. He seems willing to do that. And I think that's a big factor going forward.
Of course, this is our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. We have seen Buddy Hield, and we've heard interviews. He's a happy, gregarious guy, a quiet confidence, and an exuberant confidence, but not cocky. I think there's a big difference between the two terms.
But there's definitely a star quality to Buddy. He seems like a guy who understands that he's going to come into the league. There are going to be expectations, but he wants to live up to those expectations. He wants to exceed those expectations. So I think what we found is a guy with, at least until we see the production, he's got a star's personality, a star's makeup, and it kind of exudes as we were watching him talk in the presser today.
One of the things you had to take away from what you saw today was the word character. It was used frequently by Dell Demps and by Alvin Gentry associated with these guys. I know it's a buzzword, it's a byword, but that said, it seems to be something that they really zeroed in on with regard to these two guys.
Well, I think we have to build a team, and I think the Pelicans have to build a team that they can have guys that they can count on, guys that are going to come into the practice facility, learn this offense, get better every day because of the level that they were at last year. There's a lot of room for improvement for this franchise. So to have guys who you know are going to come in and be professionals, like they said, there's a lot of difference between being a basketball player and being a pro. I think these guys are going to come in and be pros, and that's very important.
This franchise has been leaking oil since the season itself, which was a huge disappointment. Then the uncertainty about the future of Dell Demps, which was unresolved for a long time, or so it seemed. And it looks like they've kind of stopped the leaking, at least for now, based upon this draft.
Well, there's always optimism after a draft, and particularly when you get a guy who's proven like Buddy Hield, and then you see the upside in a guy like Diallo. So I think there's a lot to be optimistic about at this point. I think fans should be happy right now. I think the organization is clearly happy with what they've walked away with. And I'm excited to see what we have going forward.
It's really exciting, so much so that people are flying over here trying to get pictures of these guys. It's amazing. What a deal. Of course, we're at the Saints and Pelicans facility, and today the introduction of the 2 draft picks, Buddy Hield and Cheek Diallo, and we'll see how it all works out. David, a pleasure as always. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
That's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and into the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. For David, I'm Ken. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.